everybody, and welcome back to Boiler 1! It's good to be back here in the test facility. So, let me tell you what happened. I tried to make a video, or I tried to just make some stuff happen with No Limits 2 after I got it, and, well, I learned that I just can't do it there. Maybe it's just not my thing, maybe I'm just not patient enough, but I just can't seem to stand to try to deal with that. So instead, we're going to just stick with Planet Coaster and stick with our test facility. So I did a little work off camera for the for this coaster. As you see, I've painted it a different color. I've given it the name Sweet Victory because this coaster is going to be themed to SpongeBob SquarePants. And if I were to sync it to music, I would sync it to the Krusty Victory song, which is a remix of a song from the classic episode. So we're going to give it a little ride. See, we got the rolls new. I'm just going to give you a look. And if you notice, I made the square loop brown and yellow, like our cheese-headed hero. That's the signature element to this coaster. Try to smooth it out a bit. Go into the tunnel. And then you hit another peak. And after the peak, I wanted to do a big inclined helix. So that'll need some work, but that'll be for a future episode. Because this episode, I want to work on a coaster that I tried to first do in No Limits, but I just had too much trouble setting up the first part. So, this is Free and Easy. Pending name, but I wanted to basically make a spiral lift looping coaster. Kind of like a more extreme version of the Whizzer at Six Flags Great America, my #1 favorite coaster of all time. And it led me to this tire launch coaster, since it can be pulled uphill around turns, and then there's a downhill launch, and then I have this little banked loop. So let's play around with this coaster, shall we? One thing I don't like about this, that I will admit that No Limits 2 does better, is banking on special elements. It's much easier to bank it. They even have a setting for minimize the lateral G-force, which is what I talked about in an earlier video about how when you bank turns, you want to bank them so that the lateral G's are zeroed, so that it doesn't feel like you're being pushed in. It just feels like you're being pushed downward, which is much more tolerable. But here it comes. It's going up the spiral tower, and I'll probably make that a little faster too. But I wanted to just kind of emulate some of the classic Schwarzkopf coasters. And it has this fast downhill sprint around this. Okay, those aren't bad. How are the vertical G's looking? 5 G's? That looks pretty tight. Maybe we'll make the loop a bit wider. Well, that's as wide as it goes. Let's see if that's any better. Only 4 G's? I can accept that. Alright, so as you can see, we have this big tight bank turn, and I think the way it kind of flattens out naturally lends it to another bank turn in the opposite direction. How have you guys been doing? I hope you're doing well, staying safe, still making sure that you're keeping in touch with your friends and your folks, and still able to have a good time. Won't be long now before things take a turn for the better, we hope. Yeah. And thank you guys all for watching, of course. I know. I really do appreciate any support, all of the support I get, even if it's only a few comments and likes and views. All of it just means so much to me that people enjoy this content. Just one thing I'd ask is that in the comments you don't ask me to be your friend, because all of my fans are already my friends, so don't worry about that. And I'd like to keep that conversation conversational, so let me know if there's stuff on your mind, anything at all. If you have any new coaster or other game video ideas, I'll definitely have to get out there in the near future with different games. Or if you just got something on your mind you want to talk about, I'm very happy to chat with anyone who wants to. All right, that looks like a long enough bank turn. Oh, you know, it'd be cool. Then after the bank turn is a vertical loop around the drop. I think that'd look very nice. Do we want this coaster to set a record? Maybe. It could be a very fastest inversion coaster. How much speed does it have going around that turn? 66 miles per hour, still fast enough that it could, and we can always add more tire launches too. I do think the loop is a good idea, except for the station, but we can always move the station in the end. One thing I like to do, or at least I kind of think about, is usually just think about building the layout, the way that you want to build the layout, and then worry about moving the station, because you can move the layout. Well, I guess it actually can be kind of hard with this game in particular, but you can still do it. I think it's just easy to think about not worrying about too much about where the station's placed, because it can change. Be an awfully tight loop, but at least it would go around. How many vertical G's would it produce? I think it looks pretty cool. That looks like too much G's. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe if we make it a little bigger, because we don't want it to be too tight. That looks really good. But is it going to be good enough? Is it going to be too tight or no? Let's give it a test. And this time we can watch it. How are you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. I guess it's kind of a thing I always do once we go into the perspective of the coaster. But, you know how it is. If you can see, unfortunately the supports don't really render in, but one thing that's fun about the WHIZZer is how you can see the track above you as you go up. And I think I might adjust this spiral lift maybe, so it's a little bit more spread out and flat, so that it can be a little, I don't know, just feel a little more novel, I guess. So you come up to the top here, right? And then you hit the tire launch. That transition is really bad, but there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. Same thing with this one. But I can at least make the turn so it's not like that. And I can fix that one too. That loop was pretty fast, but I think with the speed it's coming in and the height that we have to work with, I think it'd be best to actually save the loop for later in the layout, because it's coming in with so much speed. In fact, I'm not really sure what to do with this next part. We could look at different kinds of looping elements. Just thinking here. if we tried to get an inversion speed record, how would that look? That would set the record, but it might be a bit too intense. Have too much of a whip. What if we try a heartline roll instead? The problem with this heartline roll is it might be too high to be fast enough to be a record setter. This isn't where it's going to go in the layout either, but I do want to touch upon it. Hurry up. Although I think I would like the layout to kind of go and then pass the lift hill. Go and then wrap past the lift hill. And I think it would still qualify as fastest, but only by a little bit. Well, let's see how it runs without the super speed to see how it looks. I don't know, it doesn't look that uncomfortable, but I still don't think it should go there. Instead, I think what we'll do from here is have this upward slope. Maybe give it a nice little pop. Give him a nice little pop of airtime. Coming around the back of this thing. A nice little flyby there. It might not be high enough or whatever, but again, it's something we can do later. Yeah, I do like the little flyby turn. So let's give it one more ride before the end of the video. Let's do it from a different camera view. This looks cool. It's like we're in the back of it. I wonder if I can make this train longer. If I can, I definitely will, because the Whizzer had a very long train. Though it wasn't nearly as wide. It's an inline seat, but I don't know. I think we got a fun new attraction. And I guess we're not going to be using no limits, which is alright. I really am not that bothered. This is something I can definitely work with. That transition, of course, will need some work, but that'll probably happen off camera. So will that. And you can't get those exciting crashes like that you can on No Limits. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. Let me know if you have any name ideas here. Although I do like Free and Easy. It kind of has a nice. I think it has a cool like road racing aspect theme. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you want to see. And thank you all for watching. Click the like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, comment if you got any ideas, and I will see you all in the next video.